Hello, and welcome back to Better English Step by Step. I am so glad you are here with us today for this special long-form lesson. This is your place to relax, listen, and slowly build your confidence in English. I am joined today by Mark.
Hello, Anna, and hello to everyone listening. I am really looking forward to today's topic because, to be honest, it is something I struggle with myself, even though I have been speaking English for a long time.
You are definitely not alone, Mark. Today, we are focusing on a very specific but very important skill. We are learning how to say no politely. In English, we call this setting boundaries. It is the ability to protect your time and your energy without making the other person feel bad or rejected.
It sounds simple when you say it like that, but in the moment when a boss or a friend asks for a favor, it is so easy to just say yes because we don't want to sound rude. We want to be helpful, but then we end up with too much work and no time for our own goals.
Exactly. Many English learners tell me that they feel they have two choices: say yes and feel stressed, or say no and feel like they are being mean or aggressive. But there is a middle path. There is a way to use English patterns to be both kind and firm. Before we dive into our first set of phrases, if you enjoy these long, calm lessons and want to keep improving your English one step at a time, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. It really helps us create more of these deep dive sessions for you.
Yes, subscribing helps us stay connected. So Anna, where do we start? If I cannot say yes, what is the first thing I should say?
We start with something called the softener. In English, we almost never start a refusal with the word no. Starting with no can sound very harsh. Instead, we use a softener to show the other person that we have heard them and that we care about their request. The most common softener is, I'd love to, but. Let's look at that one first. Mark, try saying that slowly.
I'd love to, but.
Good. Notice the word but. It acts like a bridge. It connects the positive feeling of I'd love to with the reality of the situation. Let's try it again, focusing on the flow. I'd love to, but.
I'd love to, but.
Perfect. Now let's try a variation. Sometimes you want to sound a bit more formal, especially at work. In those cases, you can say, I appreciate the offer, however. This is very polite. It shows you value the opportunity. Let's practice that one. Mark, you go first.
I appreciate the offer, however.
Listen to how Mark said however. It is a bit stronger than but. It signals that a clear boundary is coming. Let's repeat it together. I appreciate the offer, however.
I appreciate the offer, however.
Another excellent softener is I'm afraid I can't. Now, this is an interesting one for learners. Mark, when you hear I'm afraid, do you think I am scared?
At first, I did. I thought the person was frightened, but I learned that in this context, it just means I'm sorry to tell you this.
Exactly. It is a very common idiomatic way to soften a negative answer. It makes the refusal feel less like a choice and more like a circumstance. Let's practice this one 3 times because it is so useful. I'm afraid I can't.
I'm afraid I can't.
I'm afraid I can't.
I'm afraid I can't.
I'm afraid I can't. Very nice. One more for this section. If a friend asks you to go out or join a project, you can say, that sounds great, but I'm not able to. This focuses on the idea that the event itself is good, which makes the person feel better. Mark, give that one a try.
That sounds great, but I'm not able to.
Good. Let's try that again. That sounds great, but I'm not able to. Now that we have our softeners, we need the second part of our formula. This is the reason. After we say, I'd love to, but, we have to explain why. For our A2 and B1 learners, the best grammar to use here is the present continuous. We use this to describe what we are doing right now or what our current focus is. For example, I'm working on a deadline.
I see. So the reason isn't just a random excuse, it's a description of my current reality.
Precisely. Let's practice some common reasons using the present continuous. The first one is, I'm focusing on a big project right now. Mark, repeat that slowly.
I'm focusing on a big project right now.
Notice the word focusing. It sounds very professional. It implies that your time is already dedicated to something important. Let's try it again. I'm focusing on a big project right now.
I'm focusing on a big project right now.
Another common reason is I'm trying to finish some things before the weekend. This is great for a Thursday or Friday request. Mark, repeat after me. I'm trying to finish some things before the weekend.
I'm trying to finish some things before the weekend.
Let's do that one more time. I'm trying to finish some things before the weekend.
I'm trying to finish some things before the weekend.
Now, let's combine a softener and a reason. This is where the magic happens. Mark, I want you to imagine I am asking you to help me with a report, but you are too busy. I will say the request, and you use the patterns we just learned. Mark, could you help me with this report this afternoon?
I'd love to, but I'm focusing on a big project right now.
That was perfect. It didn't sound rude at all. It sounded like you really wanted to help, but your schedule just didn't allow it. Let's try another one. Mark, do you want to join our extra English study group tonight?
I'm afraid I can't. I'm trying to finish some things before the weekend.
Excellent. You see how natural that sounds? You are giving a clear boundary, but you are wrapping it in a polite softener. Let's practice this combined pattern a few more times for our listeners to shadow. I will say a full sentence, and then Mark will repeat it. And then I want you, the listener, to say it out loud as well. I appreciate the offer. However, I'm working on a tight deadline today.
I appreciate the offer. However, I'm working on a tight deadline today.
That sounds great, but I'm focusing on my family this evening.
That sounds great, but I'm focusing on my family this evening.
I'm afraid I can't. I'm currently tied up with another task.
I'm afraid I can't. I'm currently tied up with another task.
Let's look at that phrase Mark just used, tied up. Mark, what does that mean to you?
It's a phrasal verb, right? It means I am busy or occupied with something. Like I am literally tied to my work with a rope and cannot move.
That is a great way to remember it. Being tied up is a very common way to say I am busy in a professional environment. It sounds a bit more natural and less repetitive than just saying I am busy all the time. Let's practice that specific phrase. I'm tied up at the moment.
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 Now we have the softener and the reason. But sometimes people are persistent, or perhaps you really do want to help, just not right now. This is where we use the third part of our formula, the alternative. An alternative is a way to stay helpful without giving up your current time. It shows you are a team player. One of the best ways to offer an alternative is to suggest a different time. For example, I can't do it today, but I can look at it on Tuesday.
This feels much more comfortable. I am not saying no forever. I am just saying no for right now.
Exactly. It changes the conversation from a rejection to a negotiation. Let's practice some time-based alternatives. Mark, repeat after me. I could help you with that later this week.
I could help you with that later this week.
How about next Monday? How about next Monday? I'll have more time once I finish this project.
I'll have more time once I finish this project.
Let's try combining all three parts now. The softener, the reason, and the alternative. This is a longer sentence, so we will take it slowly. I'd love to help, but I'm focusing on a deadline right now. I could look at it on Thursday instead. Mark, try that full sequence. I'd love to help, but I'm focusing on a deadline right now. I could look at it on Thursday instead. That was brilliant. If you say that to a colleague, they will respect your time because you are clearly managing your workload, but they will also feel supported because you offered a future time. Let's try another combination. I appreciate the invitation. However, I'm tied up this evening. How about we meet next week?
I appreciate the invitation. However, I'm tied up this evening. How about we meet next week?
Let's break that down for our listeners. First, we have the polite opening. Then we have the clear reason. And finally, the suggestion to meet later. Let's repeat the whole thing one more time. I appreciate the invitation. However, I'm tied up this evening. How about we meet next week? Now, what if you don't want to do the task at all? Maybe it is not your job or you really don't have the skills for it. You can offer a different kind of alternative, redirecting. Redirecting means sending the person to a different resource or person. You can say, have you tried asking Sarah? Or, you might find the answer in the shared folder. Ah, so I am still being helpful, but I am not the one doing the work. Precisely. You are providing a solution, even if the solution isn't you. Let's practice some redirecting phrases. Have you tried asking the manager?
Have you tried asking the manager?
You might want to check the website for that information.
You might want to check the website for that information.
Perhaps John can help you with that.
Perhaps John can help you with that.
Let's put it together with a softener. I'm afraid I'm not the best person to help with this, but you might want to ask John.
I am afraid I'm not the best person to help with this, but you might want to ask John.
Again, very slowly. I'm afraid I'm not the best person to help with this, but you might want to ask John.
I'm afraid I'm not the best person to help with this, but you might want to ask John. This is such a powerful tool for your English toolkit. It shows you are confident and you know your limits. Now, Mark, I want to talk about something very important that many learners forget. It is not just about the words you use, it is about your tone of voice. That makes sense. If I say I'd love to help, but I sound angry, it won't matter how polite the words are. Exactly. Since we are a calm podcast-style channel, we really want to focus on that gentle, steady intonation. When you say a softener, your voice should go slightly up at the end, like a question. This makes it sound like you are inviting cooperation. When you state your reason, your voice should be flat and steady. This shows it is a fact. And for the alternative, your voice should be warm. Let me try that. I'll try to do the up, flat, warm pattern. I'd love to help. I'm focusing on a deadline. How about Thursday? That was a great start. Let's refine it. I'd love to help, but I'm focusing on a deadline. I could look at it on Thursday. I'd love to help, but I'm focusing on a deadline. I could look at it on Thursday. Much better. For everyone listening, try to feel the music of the sentence. English is a very rhythmic language. Let's practice that rhythm with a few more examples. I'm afraid I can't. I'm tied up at the moment, but I can check back tomorrow. I'm afraid I can't. I'm tied up at the moment, but I can check back tomorrow. That sounds great. However, I'm working on something else. Maybe next time? That sounds great. However, I'm working on something else. Maybe next time? Now let's talk about a different situation. What if someone is pushing you? Sometimes people don't take the first no. They say, "Oh, it will only take 5 minutes," or "Please, I really need you." That is the hardest part. I feel so much pressure to give in. When that happens, you need the phrase, "I wish I could, but it's just not possible right now." The word just is very powerful here. It means there is no room for negotiation. It is a very polite way to close the door. Let's practice that. I wish I could, but it's just not possible. I wish I could, but it's just not possible. Let's try it again. I wish I could, but it's just not possible. I wish I could, but it's just not possible. Another strong but polite phrase is, I have to pass this time. To pass on something means to decline it. It is often used in social situations or for invitations. Mark, try this. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to pass this time. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to pass this time. Notice how Mark used going to. This shows it is a decision that has been made. I'm going to have to pass this time. I'm going to have to pass this time. Now, let's do a long shadowing session. I am going to read a series of short dialogues. I will be the person asking, and Mark will be the person saying no. Then we will switch. Listen carefully to the flow and try to repeat the sentences during the pauses. Scenario 1. A friend asking for help moving house. Mark, can you help me move my sofa on Saturday morning? I'd love to help, but I'm already committed to something else that morning. I could help you on Sunday afternoon, though. Scenario 2. A boss asking for extra work. Mark, I need you to stay late tonight and finish these files. I appreciate the need to get these done. However, I'm afraid I can't stay late today. I can come in early tomorrow morning to finish them first thing. Scenario 3. An invitation to a party you are too tired to attend. Mark, we are all going to the pub tonight. Are you coming? That sounds great, but I'm actually quite tired and I'm focusing on getting some rest tonight. Maybe next time? Now, let's switch roles. Mark, you ask me. Anna, can you help me move my sofa on Saturday morning? I'd love to help, but I'm already committed to something else that morning. I could help you on Sunday afternoon, though. Anna, I need you to stay late tonight and finish these files. I appreciate the need to get these done. However, I'm afraid I can't stay late today. I can come in early tomorrow morning to finish them first thing. Mark, we are all going to the pub tonight. Are you coming? That sounds great, but I'm actually quite tired and I'm focusing on getting some rest tonight. Maybe next time? Wow, Anna, even when you were saying no to me, I didn't feel bad.
I felt like you were being very professional and honest. That is the goal. Being honest about your time is a sign of respect for yourself and for the other person. If you say yes, but you are too tired or busy, you won't do a good job. Now, let's take a deep breath. Let's do a very slow repetition of the key phrases we have learned so far. This is the part where you can close your eyes and just let the English patterns sink in. I will say the phrase twice, very slowly. I'd love to, but. I'd love to, but. I'd love to, but. I appreciate the offer, however. I appreciate the offer, however. I appreciate the offer, however.
I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid I can't.
I'm afraid I can't.
That sounds great, but. That sounds great, but.
That sounds great, but.
I'm focusing on a project. I'm focusing on a project. I'm tied up at the moment. I'm tied up at the moment. How about next week? How about next week?
How about next week?
I can look at it on Thursday. I can look at it on Thursday. I wish I could, but it's just not possible. I wish I could, but it's just not possible.
I wish I could, but it's just not possible.
I'm going to have to pass this time. I'm going to have to pass this time.
I'm going to have to pass this time.
We have covered a lot of ground, but before we finish, I want to talk about one more thing: negotiating boundaries. Sometimes you don't want to say a complete no. You want to say, I can do a little bit, but not all of it. This is very common at work.
Yes, like when my boss gives me 3 tasks and I only have time for one.
Exactly. In this case, you can use the phrase, I can certainly help with X, but I won't be able to get to Y until tomorrow. The word certainly is a great way to show you are willing and helpful. Mark, let's try that. I can certainly help with the presentation, but I won't be able to finish the report today.
I can certainly help with the presentation, but I won't be able to finish the report today.
Let's try another one. I can attend the first half of the meeting, but I'll have to leave early.
I can attend the first half of the meeting, but I'll have to leave early.
This is such a useful skill for B1 and B2 learners. It shows you are actively managing your time and communicating clearly. Let's practice that leave early pattern. It is very common in office English. I'm afraid I'll have to leave early.
I'm afraid I'll have to leave early.
I have another commitment at 3 o'clock, so I'll need to head out early.
I have another commitment at 3 o'clock, so I'll need to head out early.
To head out is another great phrasal verb. It just means to leave. Let's practice that one. I need to head out.
I need to head out.
I'm heading out now.
I'm heading out now.
Now, Mark, let's imagine a more difficult scenario. Someone is asking you for a favor that is actually quite inappropriate or too much. For example, a neighbor asks you to watch their 3 dogs for a whole week, but you have never even met the dogs.
Oh, that sounds stressful. I would definitely want to say no to that.
In this case, you can be a bit more direct, but still very polite. You can say, I'm honored that you asked, but I'm not in a position to take that on right now. The phrase, I'm not in a position to, is very formal and very clear. It means it is simply not possible.
I'm not in a position to take that on right now.
Let's break that down. I'm not in a position to.
I'm not in a position to.
To take that on.
To take that on.
Right now.
Right now.
Put it all together. I'm not in a position to take that on right now.
I'm not in a position to take that on right now.
This is a great phrase for your advanced toolkit. It sounds very mature and very respectful of your own boundaries. Another version is, I don't think I'm the best person for this. This is great for when someone asks you to do something you don't know how to do.
I don't think I'm the best person for this.
Exactly. It isn't a failure. It is just a fact. I don't think I'm the best person for this.
I don't think I'm the best person for this.
Now, we are coming to the end of our lesson, but I want to do one final big review. We are going to build a boundary sandwich. Remember, the softener is the bread, the reason is the filling, and the alternative is the other piece of bread. Mark, I'm going to give you 3 scenarios, and I want you to build the best sandwich you can. Scenario 1. A colleague asks you to help them with their computer, but you are about to go to lunch.
Okay, let's see. Softener, I'd love to help. Reason, I'm just heading out for lunch. Alternative, I can take a look when I get back in an hour.
Perfect. I'd love to help, but I'm just heading out for lunch. I can take a look when I get back in an hour. Scenario 2. A friend asks you to go to a concert on a night when you have an English exam the next day.
Softener? That sounds like so much fun. Reason? I'm afraid I'm studying for my English exam that night. Alternative? Let's celebrate and go out for dinner once the exam is over.
Wonderful. You use the celebrate angle to make the alternative even better. That sounds like so much fun, but I'm afraid I'm studying for my English exam that night. Let's go out for dinner once the exam is over. Last one. Your boss asks you to take on a new client, but your schedule is already completely full.
This is the tough one. I appreciate you trusting me with this new client. However, I'm focusing on finishing my current projects and my schedule is full. Can we discuss which of my current tasks I should prioritize to make room for this? Mark, that was an advanced move. Asking the boss to help prioritize is the best way to handle that situation. It shows you are committed to quality. I appreciate you trusting me with this. However, I'm focusing on my current projects right now. Can we discuss which tasks are the priority? I feel much more confident now. It's like I have a map. I don't have to get lost in my words or feel guilty. That is exactly what we want for everyone listening. English should be a tool that helps you live a better, more organized life. It shouldn't be a source of stress. The more you practice these patterns, the more they will become automatic. You won't have to think about the grammar anymore. The words will just be there when you need them. That's true. Even during this session, I felt the phrases getting easier to say each time. That is the power of repetition. Before we go, I want to give you a small challenge. Think of one thing this week that you need to say no to. It could be a small thing, like a lunch invitation, or a big thing at work. Write down your boundary sandwich in English. Write your softener, your reason, and your alternative. Then say it out loud 3 times while you are getting ready in the morning. That is a great idea. It's like a rehearsal for real life. It really is. And if you found this lesson helpful, please share it with a friend who might also be a bit of a people pleaser. We can all help each other build better boundaries and better English. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. We have so many more of these step-by-step sessions planned for you. Thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure to practice with you. Thank you, Mark, and thank you to everyone at home or on your commute. Remember, progress happens one sentence at a time. Be patient with yourself, keep practicing, and we will see you in the next lesson. You are doing a great job, and your English is getting better every single day. Take a deep breath, stay calm, and keep building your future, step by step. Goodbye for now. Goodbye. Welcome back to this second part of our session. I realized we have so much more to explore when it comes to the nuance of these phrases. Mark, you mentioned that sometimes you feel guilty even when you use a polite phrase. Why do you think that is? I think it's because in many cultures, any kind of no feels like you are being uncooperative. You want to be the person who can do it all. That's a very common feeling. But in English-speaking professional environments, especially in places like the UK, the US, or Canada, being able to say no is actually seen as a sign of high competence. It shows that you understand your capacity. If you say yes to everything and then fail, that is considered much worse than saying no at the beginning. That is a really important point. So, by using these phrases, I am actually appearing more professional, not less. Exactly. Let's look at a few more high-level ways to say no that focus on this professional competence. One of my favorites is, I want to make sure I can give this the attention it deserves, but I'm currently at capacity. Oh, that is very sophisticated. I want to make sure I can give this the attention it deserves. Let's practice that first part. It is a long phrase. I want to make sure. I want to make sure. I can give this the attention. I can give this the attention. It deserves. It deserves. Now all together. I want to make sure I can give this the attention it deserves. I want to make sure I can give this the attention it deserves. And the reason? But I'm currently at capacity. But I'm currently at capacity. At capacity is a very professional way to say my schedule is full. It sounds like a machine or a system that is working at its best level. Mark, try saying that again. I'm currently at capacity. I'm currently at capacity. Let's combine them. I want to make sure I can give this the attention it deserves. But I'm currently at capacity. I want to make sure I can give this the attention it deserves. Imagine saying that to a manager. You are basically saying, I am a high-quality worker, and I don't want to do a bad job for you. It's very hard for a manager to be angry at that. I love that. It turns the no into a statement about my quality of work. Precisely. Let's look at another one. This is for when you are asked for your opinion or help on something you haven't had time to look at. I haven't had a chance to dive into that yet. I haven't had a chance to dive into that yet. To dive into something means to study it or work on it deeply. Mark, repeat after me. I haven't had a chance. I haven't had a chance to dive into that yet. To dive into that yet. I haven't had a chance to dive into that yet.
I haven't had a chance to dive into that yet.
Now let's add an alternative. I haven't had a chance to dive into that yet, but I'll have an update for you by tomorrow afternoon.
I haven't had a chance to dive into that yet, but I'll have an update for you by tomorrow afternoon.
This is a perfect way to handle those pressure moments in meetings. Now let's move back to some social English. Sometimes friends can be very casual, so our phrases should be casual too. Instead of, I appreciate the offer, you might say, I'd love to, but I'm wiped.
Wiped? What does that mean?
It's a very common slang word for very tired, like a whiteboard that has been wiped clean. You have no energy left.
Ah, I'm wiped. I like that. It sounds very expressive.
Let's practice it. I'd love to come, but I'm wiped.
I'd love to come, but I'm wiped.
I'm absolutely wiped after this week.
I'm absolutely wiped after this week.
Another casual one is, I think I'm going to stay in tonight.
I think I'm going to stay in tonight.
Staying in means staying at home. It's the opposite of going out. Mark, try this. Thanks for the invite, but I'm going to stay in tonight and relax.
Thanks for the invite, but I'm going to stay in tonight and relax.
Let's repeat that for our listeners. Thanks for the invite, but I'm going to stay in tonight and relax.
Thanks for the invite, but I'm going to stay in tonight and relax.
Now let's talk about a very specific type of no. This is when you want to say no to a specific part of a plan. For example, your friends want to go to a very expensive restaurant, but you want to save money. You can say, I'm not really up for a big dinner, but I'd love to meet you afterwards for a drink.
I'm not really up for. Does that mean I don't want to?
Yes, to be up for something means to want to do it or have the energy for it. So, I'm not really up for a big dinner means I don't have the energy or desire for that specific activity. Mark, let's practice. I'm not really up for a long walk today.
I'm not really up for a long walk today.
I'm not really up for a movie tonight.
I'm not really up for a movie tonight.
I'm not really up for it.
I'm not really up for it.
Now, let's use that in our formula. Softener, that sounds great. Reason, but I'm not really up for a big crowd. Alternative, how about we grab coffee tomorrow instead?
That sounds great, but I'm not really up for a big crowd. How about we grab coffee tomorrow instead?
Perfect. For our A2 learners, this word up for is a great one to learn. It makes you sound very natural. Let's do a quick drill of up for. Are you up for a coffee?
Are you up for a coffee?
I'm up for anything.
I'm up for anything.
I'm not up for it.
I'm not up for it.
Great work. Now let's slow things down again. I want to spend some time on the word sorry. Many learners use sorry for everything. Sorry I can't help. Sorry I'm busy. Sorry, no. While sorry is polite, if you use it too much, it can make you sound weak or like you have done something wrong.
I definitely do this. I say sorry 5 times in one sentence.
You aren't alone. But remember, you don't need to apologize for having a life or a job. Instead of sorry, try using unfortunately. It's a bit more formal, but it moves the blame to the situation, not to you. Mark, try this. Unfortunately, I have another commitment at that time.
Unfortunately, I have another commitment at that time.
Listen to the syllables. Un-for-to-nit-ly. 5 syllables. Mark, let's clap them out. Un-for-to-nit-ly.
Excellent.
Let's practice the sentence again. Unfortunately, I have another commitment at that time.
Unfortunately, I have another commitment at that time.
Unfortunately, that's not going to work for me.
Unfortunately, that's not going to work for me.
Now, let's try a very useful phrase for the workplace. I'm not able to take on any more work at the moment. This is very clear. Mark, repeat after me. I'm not able to take on.
I'm not able to take on.
Any more work.
Any more work.
At the moment.
At the moment.
I'm not able to take on any more work at the moment.
I'm not able to take on any more work at the moment.
Now let's look at the phrase at the moment. This is a very common British English way to say right now. It sounds very soft and polite. Let's practice it a few times. At the moment.
At the moment.
I'm busy at the moment.
I'm busy at the moment.
I'm tied up at the moment.
I'm tied up at the moment.
I'm not sure at the moment.
I'm not sure at the moment.
Very good. Now let's do another shadowing session. This time we will focus on being firm but very kind. I will be the pusher, the person who won't take no for an answer.
Mark, I want you to use the firm phrases we learned, like, I wish I could, but it's just not possible. Or, unfortunately, that won't work for me. Ready?
I'm ready. I will stand my ground.
Mark, I know you said you're busy, but I really need this done by 5 p.m. Can't you just skip your lunch break?
I wish I could, but it's just not possible today. I need that time to recharge so I can finish the rest of my work properly.
But Mark, it's only a small task. It will only take 10 minutes.
I understand it's a small task. However, I'm currently at capacity and I want to make sure I don't make any mistakes. I can certainly help you with it first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay, fine. Tomorrow morning it is.
Wow, that was hard, but I felt very professional.
You were perfect. You didn't get angry, you didn't apologize too much, and you offered a clear alternative. That is the gold standard of English communication. Let's switch roles. You be the pusher, Mark.
Anna, I know you're supposed to go home, but we really need someone to stay and help with the event tonight. Please.
I appreciate you asking. However, I'm not in a position to stay late this evening. I have other commitments that I can't reschedule.
But everyone else is staying. We really need the whole team here.
I understand it's a big event, and I'd love to be there, but it's just not possible this time. I've already finished all my prep work for the event, so everything should be ready for you.
Oh, that's true. You did finish your part. Okay, see you tomorrow.
You see, by pointing out what I had already done, my reason, I made it clear that I am a good worker, even if I am not staying late.
This is a great tip. Remind the person of the good work you are already doing while you are saying no to the new thing.
Yes, it's all about context. Now, let's do a very slow, deep dive practice on one of the most common words we use today. However, many students use but for everything. But. However is your friend. It sounds more balanced. Let's practice the placement of however. Usually we put a little pause after it. I'd like to help. However, I'm busy.
I'd like to help. However, I'm busy.
I appreciate the invite. However, I'm staying in tonight.
I appreciate the invite. However, I'm staying in tonight.
It sounds great. However, I have to pass.
It sounds great. However, I have to pass.
Do you hear that little gap mark? That pause gives the other person time to prepare for the no. It makes the transition smoother.
I do hear it. It feels like I am taking a breath before I say the difficult part.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about a phrase for when you are unsure. Sometimes you don't want to say no immediately, but you also don't want to say yes. You need to check your schedule. You can say, let me check my calendar and get back to you.
I use this one a lot. It gives me time to think.
It's a lifesaver. Let's practice it. Let me check my calendar.
Let me check my calendar.
And get back to you.
And get back to you.
Let me check my calendar and get back to you.
Let me check my calendar and get back to you.
Another version is, I'll have to check with my partner and let you know.
I'll have to check with my partner and let you know.
This is great because it shows that someone else is involved in your time, which makes the boundary feel more solid. Let's repeat that. I'll have to check with my partner and let you know.
I'll have to check with my partner and let you know.
Now, let's do a final review of the different levels of saying no that we've covered today. Level 1 is the casual no. Mark, repeat after me. I'm going to stay in tonight.
I'm going to stay in tonight.
Level 2 is the professional no. I'm currently at capacity.
I'm currently at capacity.
Level 3 is the direct no. I'm going to have to pass this time.
I'm going to have to pass this time.
Level 4 is the negotiating no. I can help with X, but I can't do Y.
I can help with X, but I can't do Y.
And level 5 is the hard no. I wish I could, but it's just not possible.
I wish I could, but it's just not possible.
You now have a complete toolkit for protecting your time. I want you to remember that every time you say no to something that isn't important, you are saying yes to your own goals, your own rest, and your own learning.
That is such a positive way to look at it. I am not losing a friend. I am gaining an hour of English study or an hour of sleep.
Exactly. And that is what this channel is all about. Better English, step by step, for a better life. We are so proud of the progress you are making. Listening to a long lesson like this takes focus and dedication. You should be very proud of yourself.
I certainly am proud of everyone who stayed with us until the end. It isn't easy, but it is worth it.
It really is. Now, for your final task today, take a piece of paper and write down the phrase that felt the most comfortable for you. Maybe it's, I'm afraid I can't. Or maybe it's, I'm currently at capacity. Stick that piece of paper on your computer monitor or your fridge. The next time you feel that pressure to say yes when you want to say no, look at that paper. Use those words. You have the permission to protect your time.
I'm going to write I'm currently at capacity and put it on my desk right now.
Good for you, Mark. And for everyone else, thank you for being part of our community. We love reading your comments and hearing about your English journey. If you haven't already, please do subscribe and join our family of learners. We are here to support you every step of the way.
Have a wonderful, productive, and peaceful day, everyone.
Yes, stay calm, keep practicing, and remember that you are getting better every single day. We will see you in the next episode. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Wait, Mark, before we completely wrap up, let's do one more thing for our listeners who really want to master the pronunciation of these longer sentences. We'll do a back-chaining exercise. This is where we start at the end of the sentence and work backwards. It's a great trick for fluency.
I love back-chaining. It makes the long sentences feel much shorter.
Let's try it with the sentence, I appreciate the offer. However, I'm currently at capacity. We'll start with the last word, capacity.
Capacity.
At capacity.
At capacity.
Currently at capacity.
Currently at capacity.
I'm currently at capacity.
I'm currently at capacity.
However, I'm currently at capacity.
However, I'm currently at capacity.
The offer, however, I'm currently at capacity.
The offer, however, I'm currently at capacity.
I appreciate the offer, however, I'm currently at capacity.
I appreciate the offer, however, I'm currently at capacity.
Do you see how much smoother that feels? Let's try one more. I'd love to help, but I'm focusing on a deadline right now. Start at the end, right now.
Right now.
Deadline right now.
Deadline right now.
A deadline right now.
A deadline right now.
Focusing on a deadline right now.
Focusing on a deadline right now.
I'm focusing on a deadline right now.
I'm focusing on a deadline right now.
But I'm focusing on a deadline right now.
I'd love to help, but I'm focusing on a deadline right now.
Fantastic. If you do this back-chaining technique with any difficult sentence, your mouth muscles will get used to the movements. It's like exercise for your voice.
I can really feel the difference. It's like my brain doesn't have to worry about the beginning of the sentence because I already know the ending so well.
That's exactly the science behind it. Okay, now we are truly finished. Thank you once again for your incredible focus today. You are building a stronger, more confident version of yourself with every minute you spend here. Keep going. You've got this. Goodbye.
Goodbye. See you next time.